Good morning.
बाकी ठीक है। हेलो हेलो हेलो, सच में नहीं आ रही क्या आवाज? अभी मैंने क्या बोला था? हेलो
So shall we start now? 20 students have joined. Yeah, good morning all. So is my screen visible?
Yes, ma'am. 8051 DIP pin assignments.
Yeah, last time we were talking about introduction and instruction part of it. So we'll just revise what we have done last time and we will proceed further. So we have seen that in compared to 8085 microprocessor, this is having its own 8051 is having its own ports. There are 4 ports. Each port is 8-bit port. Then it is having 16 address lines. It is a 8-bit microcontroller. It is having 5 interrupts and it is having its own internal ROM of 4 kilobytes and RAM of 128 bytes. And what is the difference between 8051 and 52? It is that the only difference is that it is having one extra timer counter, and another thing is that it is having 8K of ROM or EPROM. If you are using EPROM, then it is having 8K of EPROM. So and even RAM is 256 bytes. So this is the only difference between 8051 and 8052. They both are pin compatible. So suppose so we'll see this yesterday we have seen the features and internal frequency is divided by 12. If your crystal frequency is 12 megahertz, then internal operation frequency will be 1 megahertz. It is divided by 12. In 8085 it was divided by 2. It varies from microprocessor to microprocessor, microcontroller to microcontroller. So we have seen some features also that it is having 8-bit accumulator and B register. And in 8085 we were having C register, D register, E register, but this is not having C, D, etc. registers. It is having R0 to R7, these 8 registers, but they are there in 4 banks. Like you have 4 banks RB0 to RB3, and each bank is containing 8 registers from R0 to R7. So if you do not have numbers from R0 to R31, you have numbers from R0 to R7 only. So you have to specify the bank first, which bank this R0 refers to. And then it is having internal ROM of 4K, and or it may be EPROM also. It is having 8-bit stack pointer. In 8085 it is having 16-bit stack pointer. Why this is having 8-bit stack pointer? Because your RAM is of 128 bytes, and stack pointer memory location always pointing to RAM memory location, because the contents of stack pointer memory location, stack memory is keep on changing as per the need of user. So that's why it is always assigned in RAM location. So because it is having 128 bytes of RAM, so your stack pointer is 8-bit stack pointer. And you have two 16-bit registers. One is program counter, because your address lines are A0 to A16. So that's why your program counter should be 16-bit. And you have one more 16-bit register, that is data pointer. Data pointer is also used to point out any memory location which is of 16-bit. It may be internal, it may be external. So as we were talking about, it is having 4 register banks. So how this 128 bytes of RAM is divided? It is divided as 4 banks, each containing 8 registers, so 32 bytes. Now how much bytes are remaining? 80 bytes of general purpose RAM is remaining, one internal 128 bytes. Out of which 16 bytes are bit addressable. Bit addressable means you can address a single bit. So now how much it is?
1%, 2%.
16 plus 32. 48 plus 80, that is 128. So 128 byte internal RAM is divided into these parts. 16, you have 32 registers R0 to R7 in 4 banks. You have 16 bytes of RAM which is bit addressable, and you have 80 bytes which is general purpose RAM. And you have 4 ports, P0 to P3. Each port is 8-bit port, and each port pin can be addressed as a single bit. You have 2 timer counters. They are 16-bit each, T0 and T1. Then you have some special function registers. We see these special function registers when we will see the each individual operation. So we were talking about instructions and instruction set of microcontroller. Can you see this particular page?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So it is they are categorized as data transfer instructions. So these are move C, that is coded move X, that is moving to the external memory, push, pop, exchange, and XCHD. We'll see all these instructions in detail. Then you have arithmetic operations like addition, subtraction, addition with carry, subtraction with borrow, increment, decrement, multiplication, division, and decimal adjust. In 8085, we were not having this instruction, mul and div, multiplication and division instruction. But in 8051 microcontroller, we have these instructions, mul and div. But the only limitation is that these are operated only with 2 registers, accumulator and B register. R0 to R7 registers are not used. Then you have branching instructions. In 8085, we were having jump instruction, but here you have 3 jumps, like L jump, that is long jump, A jump, that is absolute jump, and S jump, that is short jump. Then you have conditional jumps like jump if 0, jump if not 0, the decrement, and jump if not 0. The 2 operations are combined together. First it is decrementing, and then it is checking whether it is 0 or not, and if it is not 0, then it is jumping to the memory location specified to this particular operand place. Now L call, that is long call, absolute call, return from interrupt.
YouTube search kar, YouTube.
Then you have logical operations like AND, OR, XOR, clear, complement, rotate, left, rotate right, rotate left, with carry, without carry, and one is swap instruction. So we'll see all these instructions in detail, and Boolean variable instructions are also there. That is clear, setting of the bit, because 16 bytes of RAM location is bit addressable. So you have to have instructions which will set these bits, which will clear these bits. So you have the instruction like set B for clearing the bit clear. Then you have even bit operations are available with move, jump if carry bit is set or not, jump if carry bit is not set, jump if the bit which you want to check whether it is set or not, you can check and jump accordingly with this instruction JB. So we'll see all these instructions. So this is the way the instructions are classified in 8051 microcontroller. Now there are addressing modes like immediate addressing mode, where you move your immediate data. In 8085, you were having MVI instruction. So when you use MVI instruction, I stands for immediate. So there you don't use hash sign. But in 8051 microcontroller, nomenclature is not MVI, it is MOV. For any type of move, it is MOV. So that's why to specify the immediate data, we have to put hash sign. So when we write this instruction move a comma hash data, that means this 8-bit immediate data, direct data, is going into accumulator. Similarly, you have direct addressing mode. In direct addressing mode, here direct 8-bit address is given. So whatever is the data at this particular address is going to accumulator. So you can use your direct address. If you put hash sign, that is treated as data. If you do not put hash sign, that is treated as address. And why 8-bit address? Because its RAM is 128 byte only. So 128 byte means it is only 8-bit data. So 8-bit data, that's why these addresses are 8-bit addresses. You cannot have your 16-bit address. Now register direct addressing mode means from the register you are moving into the accumulator, or maybe from register to register. Then register indirect means, yes please, any problem?
डाटा एंटर करेंगे वो एक साथ डालने होगा।
आवाज क्लियर नहीं आ रही है, दोबारा पूछो या चैट बॉक्स।
मैम जो हम 805,
हाँ
मैम अब जा रही बात। मैम जो डाटा 805 में हम डालेंगे वो हेक्साडेसिमल में होगा या फिर अदर किसी नंबर सिस्टम में?
hexadecimal. All these are hexadecimal data. हाँ, this is hexadecimal data. Okay, so register indirect, all these data they are from 00 to FF. Okay, and if you have DAA instruction, decimal adjust, when you want to operate with decimal data. So register indirect means here we'll see this also, and here it is index. That means you are making some other memory location, so that's why it is called as indexing. We'll see when we study these two instructions, we'll see what they mean. So we'll see the data transfer instructions. Now here whenever we will refer RR means it will be from R0 to R7, any register. And whenever we will use RP stands only for R0 and R1. In some of the books or in some of the notes which are available on internet or any other places, instead of RR they have used RN. N stands for R0 to R7. And instead of RP they have used RI. So if it is RI, then it is R0 and R1 only. But whichever way you have to specify that, this is just for your understanding. So whenever I will use RR, then it will be from R0 to R7. And whenever I will use RP, then it will be only R0 and R1. In that instruction, R3, R4, R2, R3, R4, R5, R6, R7 are not allowed. If we use RP, then only R0 and R1 only is allowed. And these are the instructions which are with this particular sign, indirect addressing. So we'll see like about how the instructions are. When I write move a comma hash data, that means 8-bit immediate data, whatever may be here data, that goes into hexadecimal data, that goes into accumulator. When I write instruction move RR comma hash data, so immediate data can go into any of the register whichever is specified over here. If R0 is there, then it will go into R0 register. If R7 is there, then it will go into R7 register. And before this instruction, you have to specify the bank, so that this particular R0 to R7 will refer to that particular bank. Then you can transfer the immediate data to any of the RAM location. That RAM location is of 8-bit RAM location. So it is specified as ADD address. Then you can transfer the data from any register R0 to R7 from this register to accumulator. Then you can transfer the data from any RAM location to accumulator. You can transfer the data from accumulator to any register R0 to R7. You can transfer the data from any RAM location to any register R0 to R7. You can transfer the data from accumulator to any RAM location. And you can, because your DPTR is 16-bit register, so that's why here data is 16-bit data. Immediate 16-bit data is moved into DPTR register. DPTR register is having two registers, 8-bit registers. One is DPL, that is lower byte of DPTR, and DPH, that is upper byte of DPTR. So this 16-bit data, lower byte will go into DPL and higher byte will go into DPH. Then you can transfer the data from any memory location, RAM location to any RAM location. You can transfer the data from any register R0 to R7 to any RAM location. And now we will see these particular instructions at RP instructions. So whenever we will write RP, then it is only R0 and R1 applicable. So immediate data will go into, not into R0 and R1, but it will go into the contents specified by R0 and R1 to that memory location. That means suppose if your R0 is containing 30 hex, and if I write instruction over here move at R0 comma hash any data, let's say 43 hex, then this 43 hex immediate data will not go into R0, it will go into 30 hex memory location. This is clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Is the meaning of this at sign is clear? At means it is indirectly pointed out memory. So which memory it is indirectly pointing out? It is pointing out the memory location which is specified by the register contents. Now RP can be only R0 and R1. So suppose if here R1 is there, then whatever may be the R1 register contents, let's say suppose if R1 is containing 50 hex, then this immediate data will go into 50 hex memory location. It will not go to R1. And if it has to go to R1, then you don't have to put at sign. You just have to write this type of instruction. And once you write at sign, that means it goes to that particular memory location which is specified by R0 and R1 contents. Understood? Yeah. So next is move a comma at RP. So here also same meaning is there. RP can be R0 and R1. So let's say if here we use at R0, then it is not the contents of R0 which is going into accumulator. It is the content of memory location. Ji, good morning, sir. Yeah, am I audible now? Sorry, actually there was a phone call. Am I audible now?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So have you gone through this? Have you understood the meaning of at? It is indirectly pointed out memory, and RP and indirectly pointed out memory, for if you observe minutely, all these at type of instructions, they only use R0 and R1 register. They don't use R2s to R7 registers. So whenever there is a indirect transfer, जी सर, जी सर, ओ हाँ जी सर, अब ये ठीक रहेगा। हाँ, तो अभी इनको वो कमिश्नर, वो जो नगर आयुक्त है, तो उनसे फिर आप इस सैटरडे के लिए बात कर लीजिए, तो वो चीफ गेस्ट हो जाएंगे। Yeah, sorry, actually. So, did you understood this particular? Did you understand these instructions? Have you gone through all
Yes,
instructions?
ma'am.
Yeah, so all are clear. So if I write move rr comma hash data, then it will be 8 instructions. So likewise we have these 16 types of categories. So apart from this, there are no move instructions. These are the only categories. So I have sorted out this so that you should not be confused. So there will not be any other combinations apart from this. So if I write, there can be instructions like move tmod comma hash data. So tmod means these are special function registers. So special function register, either you write them as special function register by name, or you can write their addresses also. So they will fall under this category. So if I write this particular instructions, then what is the meaning of this first instruction? Move a comma hash 56.
56 हेक्स डाटा एक्यूमुलेटर में मूव हो जाएगा.
Yes, direct immediate data. What is the next meaning of next instruction?
मैम R7 में F0 डाटा मूव हो जाएगा मैम.
FB data.
ओके.
FB
Yes, ma'am.
data
R7
will
में
move
move
to
हो जाएगा.
R7. Yeah, because in 8051 when you write assembly language program, if the data starts from A, then you have to put 0. If the data starts from number, then you don't have to put 0. But if your data starts
Okay,
from
ma'am.
A, B, C, D up to F, then you have to put 0 over here. And this H is for hexadecimal data. And what is the meaning of next instruction? Meaning of next instruction?
मैम 74 हेक्स इमीडिएट डाटा. मैम ये तो मूव होगा बट ये B0 का मतलब क्लियर नहीं रहा यहाँ पे.
B0 मेमोरी एड्रेस पे मूव होगा.
मैम यहाँ पे P3 क्यों लिखा गया है?
I will explain you. This immediate data will go into the address B0. B0 is the address in the RAM location. But this address corresponds to P3 also, port 3 also. So either you can write move P3 comma hash 74, or you can write move 0B0 hex comma hash 74. So you don't have to remember the addresses of ports or addresses of any special function register. This is just to explain you that if your address can be anything from 128 byte memory location, and if it is B0, that means the data is going to P3 port. But you don't have to remember that if you want to move the data into P3, you have to write B0. Nothing like that. You can write move P3 comma hash 74. So 74 data will go into P3. Or if you are writing address, then it will go to this particular RAM location. Understood?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. And this is at sign is there, so it can be R0 or R1. So suppose if your yes, let's say suppose if your R1 is containing let's say R1 is containing 80 hex, then this 08 data, immediate data will go into 80 hex memory location. It will not go to R1. It will go to 80. So what is the meaning of next this one last instruction?
74 address पे B0 address में move हो जाए.
This is also RAM address and this is also RAM address. So whatever is at this RAM address, that data will go into this RAM address B0. Because we have not put hash sign, so this is referred as address. Okay. So we'll see the addressing modes once again, because now you will understand. So if I use hash sign instructions, then this is immediate addressing mode. If I use registers, then this is register addressing mode. And if I use direct addresses, so here we have used one instruction B0. So B0 for us it is address, but apart from this, these are having the addresses are like this. So accumulator is having address E0, B register is having address F0, DPL is having address 82, DPH is having address 83, IE register is having address A8, IP is having B8, P0 is having 80, P port 1 is having 90, port 3 is having B0, PCON register is having 87. You don't have to remember these addresses, but this is just to let you know that your address, though they are special function registers, they don't have addresses apart from your RAM location. The addresses are from RAM location only. So if you are moving to address A0, that means indirectly you are moving to port 2. Understood? If you are moving any data to 89 hex memory location, that means you are moving it to TMOD register. So what are these registers, SCON, TMOD, etc.? Whenever we will see those particular operations, that time we'll see the functioning of these registers. So yeah, now this is indirect addressing. Here, wherever you are using @ sign, all these instructions, they fall under indirect addressing mode. And then apart from these simple moves, there are external data moves. External data moves means your data is moved into external memory. Understood? And to specify these external memory moves, you have to put X over here. So if I write move X, that means this move is corresponding to the external memory location. And if I write this particular instruction at dptr comma a, because if you are connecting external memory, that means your memory address must be 16-bit address, because this can be anything, because you have address lines A0 to A15, that means 16 address lines. So your addresses can be 16-bit addresses, and hence whatever your 8-bit, but each address, whether the address is 16-bit or whether it is 8-bit, the data storage capacity of that particular memory location is 8-bit only. So if I write this instruction move at dptr comma a, then accumulator data will go into the memory location which is specified by dptr. And why we are not writing ADD over here? Because when I write ADD, then it is corresponding to 8-bit address. So I have to point out, if I am using 16-bit address, then I have to point out by dptr, because dptr is the only 16-bit register apart from program counter in 8051. So when this memory location is not residing inside the microcontroller, it is outside the microcontroller. And to specify that this memory location is outside the microcontroller, you have to put move X sign. Move X. X with move. So this is it clear?
Yes, ma'am.
If my instruction is move X at 1250, comma A, then accumulator content, whatever may be, it will go to the memory location 1250. Understood?
Yes, ma'am.
External moves. And again here, so here also, these are, whenever we write X sign, these are external memory. This memory is not residing into microcontroller. So is it clear? So only these combinations are possible. Apart from this, there are no other combinations. Like you can use only here R0 and R1. You can use only DPTR A accumulator, R0 accumulator, and here it should be capital A or small a, whichever it is. This is possible, vice versa is also possible. This is possible, vice versa is also possible. So only these 4 combinations are possible with external moves. No other combination is possible. You cannot move with R3, R2, R3, R4, etc. for external data. So what is the condition? If you see in all external moves, accumulator must be there. Here also accumulator is there, here also accumulator is there, here also accumulator is there, here also accumulator is there. So all data, external data moves contain register A. RP can have the address 256 bytes because it is 8-bit register, and it can be only R0 and R1. DPTR can have address 64K because it is 16-bit address. MOVX is normally used with external RAM or input-output addresses. So I think this is all clear to you. And if you see the flags of 8051, then carry flag is there, which is there in 885. Auxiliary flag is there, which is also there in 885. Parity flag is there, which is also there in 885. And zero flag is also there, which is also there in 885. Apart from this, there is another flag, overflow. So if your data moves above FF or above FFFF, then your overflow flag is generated. So this flag is not there in 885. Generally, overflow flag we use in timer counters. When we start the timers and if the data flows from FF2 further, then the overflow flag is set. And we have another user flags, F0, then GF0, GF1. These are 3 flags which are available for programmer. And you have program status word, as in 885 also you have program status word which contains the flag status. So here also you the program status word is containing flag status. Carry flag is there, auxiliary carry flag is there, F0 flag is there, overflow flag is there, and parity flag is there. And these 2 bits are used to specify the register bank. So if the combination of these 2 bits are 00, then it is bank 0. If the combination of these 2 bits are 01, then it is bank 1. If the combination of these 2 bits are 10, then it is bank 1. And if the combination of these 2 bits are 11, then it is bank 2. So if I refer R0 to R7, then by stating the appropriate combination in this particular program status word, I have to specify the bank first. And this is also bit addressable. You can address a single bit of program status word. You don't have to always use it as 8-bit. You can address it single bit. When we'll see bitwise instructions, that time you will understand that how bitwise bit addressing is done. So as it is stated that your RAM is 128 bytes, out of which your 32 are your working registers. They are organized in 4 banks. First bank containing R0 to R7, next bank containing R0 to R7, next bank containing R0 to R7. Likewise, you have 32 registers. And if you write the addresses, then your addresses will start from 00 to 1F. If I write address 00, then it is R0 register of register bank 0. Understood? If I write 18 hex address, that means it is R0 of bank 3. Because 00 to 07 will go for bank 0. 08 to 10 will go for bank 1. And then 18 will be for bank 3. Is it clear? Is this clear?
Ma'am, is यहाँ से रहने दीजिए प्लीज, कल बताइएगा।
Okay, we will stop over here and we will continue from this tomorrow. Have you all?
ओके
Have
मैम,
all of
थैंक
you
यू
have?
मैम।
Yeah, all of you have written your this thing. Have you written your attendance in chat box? All of you?
यस मैम।
Yeah, Vivek is asking college kab open hoga. I don't have idea of this, but as soon as I come to know, I will inform you all. And there are two questions in your CT1, which the options I have given wrongly. So I will give 2 marks to all of you for those particular questions. So if all of you have written the attendance, then shall I? So shall we end the meeting now?